7 p.m. Cat 4-5 race at Pacific Raceways. This week is a points race again, so the first two cross the line every lap get points. Our team has 7 people on it tonight. The next biggest teams are Taco Time and Audi. Although it is a points race, our plan for the night was to focus on the finish, not the points. So normally at the beginning of the race, I'm pretty aggressive. But my plan for tonight was to take it easy and just gradually increase my effort throughout the race. We did plan on doing a lead out for tonight on the last lap, starting on the back straight. We wanted to keep the field single file going into the final section of the race to prevent typical PR bunch sprint. So as I said earlier, the goal for tonight was to take it easy in the beginning of the race, and as a result, my heart rate is below 150 beats per minute on the second lap still. So at this point in the race, I've moved up to the front of the field because usually towards the last turn, a couple people go off to go grab the points, and there's a potential for them to form a break. So I want to stay at the front of the field just to make sure that they don't get away. And if they do, we're ready to organize a chase effort. And right now, Randy's telling us to let him dangle. We don't want them to join up with the field just yet. We can see that they're not going to turn into a break. They're kind of riding separate from each other. They're sitting up a bit, but rather than let them join the field right away on the front straight with the headwind, I want to force them to join on the back straight with the tailwind, where they'll get less of the benefit from the draft. And although we're at the front, increasing the speed of the field, our goal is still to conserve energy. We're just making it harder for someone else to come around who really wants those points. So that way, they're going to have to get out into the wind and pass a long line of single file riders. So although I said I wasn't going to be going for the points tonight, I did tell the team that if it looks like there's going to be an easy point, I'll take it. And that group of 4 that went off before is slowing down as they come close to the line. And I tried to sneak by to at least get the second place point. But just then, that guy turns his head, sees me coming, steps it up. So I quickly put an end to my sprint.
You had to look.
So that's a 1-2-3 field passing us and neutralizing our race. And we're supposed to give some separation, so that way we don't just immediately catch back up to them. But a couple people from our field don't give them enough space and start racing too early and end up getting on the back of the 1-2-3 field. But they end up getting disqualified from the race as soon as they cross the finish line in the wrong group. So at this point in the race, we're almost at the halfway point, and I've barely done anything. So I move up to the front of the field to make sure the race stays fast. Because sometimes in the middle of the race, there's a little bit of a lull, and everyone slows down. And I want to make sure the pace stays fast to prevent other teams from organizing as well as our team is. So I see Bill from our team, who doesn't have any kit yet, and Randy move up to the front with the Audi guy. So I soft pedal a bit to give him a chance to grab some points. But even though I'm soft pedaling, we get a little bit of separation from the field, just as the Audi guy and Randy slow down a bit. So I initiate a counterattack. Still a little early for me to start the sprint, but I'm kind of forced to. And actually right about here, I feel my right foot come out of the pedal a little bit, so I have to end my sprint. But luckily it's just as Randy comes by to secure first. But I look back and the field is really far away. And there's 4 of us. That's great for a break. So I try to recruit them into a break effort, but we slowed down too much just as the field started picking up steam, so we don't have enough momentum to actually make the break work. If we had gathered together right after crossing the finish line, then it might have worked. Alright, so at the end of the front straight, Audi rider goes off early, and on the back straight, a North Star rider joins him. But again, my goal tonight is to ride efficiently and not do any unnecessary efforts. So rather than sprinting to close this gap down, I just keep it at threshold, and they actually slow down, and we're able to catch him without me having to burn a match. So our team isn't going for points tonight unless it looks like it's going to be easy. And this one looks easy. We have a 3-person lead out as we enter the final turn, and I'm just trying to make sure that nobody starts to sprint early. So I'm quietly telling Stan to keep going.
Keep going.
And as we enter that final turn, I tell him to go, pick up the pace.
Now, go. Go!
Then I see this guy, Artak, I think, start to try to move around me. So I start my sprint a little earlier than I should have. He moves to the right, passes me, and gets first, but we got second out of it without too much of an effort. Again, we have a group of 4 of us as we cross the finish, so I quickly try to organize them into a break before we slow down.
Keep up this pace. Come on, guys. Let's not get forward.
Dan is telling me we should stick to the original plan of the lead-out train, but I tell him we have a big gap and we should take advantage of it.
Jake, don't forget the goal. Hey, Randy. We got a gap. We're gonna take advantage.
Especially if it's a 4-person break with 2 people on the same team. So as we go into turn 1, I see the Masters is about to pass our field, which will neutralize them. So this is our last chance to really increase our gap. So I tell him to go hard on this lap before we get neutralized. But right here, Charles from Audi loses the wheel and falls off. So now we're just down to 3 people. Still, 3 people is plenty for a break at Pacific Raceways, so we keep at it. But as we get to the end of the back straight, it occurs to me that this could fall apart if any of us sprint for the points. So I tell Artak that we don't care about the points, hopefully to prevent him from sprinting. So this person that joins us in the gray is a lapped rider. Not sure what he's doing, but he's helping us. So I let him continue to make this mistake. Yeah, I don't know what he's sprinting for. He's a lapped rider. So again, we still have a gap. The Masters are between us and our field. So we're still gonna keep the brake fast to delay the Masters passing us as long as we can. Yeah, that lapped rider is still with us. Again, this just helps us. But as we come to the end of the back straight, we still haven't been neutralized. We'll find out why in a bit. So on the rear camera, you can see the Masters. And I'm expecting to get past them on the back straight. So this is our last chance to grow our gap. So at the end of this lap, we've lost our lapped rider. So our break is back to 3 people.
All right, guys, we got this.
Okay, 2 laps to go. We still haven't been passed by the Masters. So I think we have this race in the bag. But as we finish the back straight, I hear people coming by, and I assume it's the Masters, so I just say neutral, move over to the left.
Alright, neutral!
But to my surprise, I see Cisco.
Fuck! We thought you were the goddamn Masters!
So I quickly realized that our field had passed the Masters at some point.
Bill?
Turns out Apex and Audi initiated a chase at the end of the race,
Alright, guys.
but Bill and Cisco followed them,
Pull off. Save energy.
so that way we were at least countered by our own team. They slowed down enough for us to catch back on with them and prevented us from getting swarmed. So quickly we go into our original plan, which is to form a lead-out train on the last lap to keep the field single file, prevent a sprint at the end. But our plan was to initiate this move on the back straight. Us getting caught forced us to start this move a lot earlier. And you can see there will be people who are attacking, and I'm not chasing them down. We have a big team that's organized. We don't have to respond to individual riders. Not only did we have to start this lead out move earlier than we planned, but our order is all messed up now because of that break. So in order to get it back together, I pull off, hoping to get everyone just to do one rotation before we officially start the train. There's some confusion, but Bill comes by fast on the left and keeps us organized. Bill came in at the right moment, kept it fast before we started bunching up. And now we're back to single file. So this is the point where we wanted to start the lead out, and we've already been doing it for half a lap. I'm worried that Bill's gonna fade, so I tell him to keep going, because we need to make sure we are fast on this back straight and keep that speed up in the second to last turn. And here's another time where it almost falls apart. We go 3 wide, so I have to remind him to keep it going.
Keep it going, keep it going!
Again, we have a single North Star rider who goes on attack, but we don't have to worry about chasing it down. A 5-person lead out is going to be a solo rider. So rather than burning a match and closing that gap between Stan, I just focus on the lead out train. Just keep a steady effort. Cisco sees me fade, tells me to pull over. So I move over, and then I'm able to see just how big our train is. We got Cisco, Randy, Bill, and then I see that's it. So I make sure I get on Bill's wheel and don't let anyone else mess this up. So our steady state effort allows us to catch that North Star rider and allows Stan to get back in the train. But this is the point where we could easily start slowing down. So I tell Cisco to give everything he's got.
Everything you got, Cisco!
But it almost falls apart here. I don't know quite what happened, but all of a sudden there's 2 lines. Bill gets out of the saddle, and all of a sudden a gap forms. So I quickly fill it. Again, Stan's our sprinter. I don't want him to have to do that effort. I haven't really raced with Bill before, so I'm not sure what he's capable of. But he is on the critical part of the course with the headwind where people normally slow down. So I'm telling him, keep this effort up. Keep this going all the way around the turn. I would like one more person behind me to protect Stan. And I see Bill hasn't faded yet, so I keep giving him words of encouragement. But it turns out that's not necessary at all. This guy's strong. A little too strong. So he gaps us, but closing that gap would cause Stan to be exposed to the wind, so I stick with Stan. Stan tells me to go. My plan was to pull off to the left to prevent anyone coming on his left side. And at this point, I think we have a 1-2 finish. I celebrate a little too early and stop my sprint. Eugene ends up taking first, followed by a photo finish with Bill and Stan in third. Evan gets 5th, and I come in at 6th. Overall, it was a really good race. We've been trying to do a lead out for a while. Although it was a little messy, a little disorganized, we were able to hold it together for a lap. And here's that photo finish between Stan and Bill. Again, nice job, Bill.
You gotta work on your lead out. That was a sprint you did. You gapped us. I'm sorry, I was trying to keep it at like 5.